So where were we? Ah yes, my CFK Falcata was a big rusty mess. Now I've put some significant amount of time into trying to get this thing back to a reasonable working order. I've put some time into polishing it and sharpening it up, and I thought today I'd give it a nice vinegar patina. So here I have it set up, ready to go. And what am I going to use? White vinegar. Basic steps, I'm going to put the white vinegar into a pan, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. Once the vinegar is brought to a boil, just going to take it, pour it over the top of the knife, and give it some time to sit. And over the course of the next couple hours, this thing will turn to a nice dark colored metal and have a protection layer on it so it won't rust in the future. Now you'll notice that quite quickly, after a short amount of time, the blade immediately starts to turn colors and bubbles come off of the metal, basically from the oxidization of the metal. You can see it's already starting to turn black. And after a few hours, you get a nice, even black finish. Now I've put some time again into sharpening this blade, trying to get it back into at least a reasonable resemblance of order. And at this point, let's give it a little bit of field use and see how this thing's going to perform. So I'm just going to do some chopping tasks here, chopping into the side of this log, getting some nice deep penetration, good controlled grip, solid attack, and nice deep bite into this wood. Taking a quicker look up close here, you can see the blade's pretty much almost entirely buried. Looking pretty good. Now, continuing on with some of the camp tasks, I do like to try to get some nice fine curls on a piece of wood, just to simulate if I was making like a feather stick or some sort of kindling for a fire. And you can see here that I am getting some nice curls. Now I can tell you that the blade was not digging in terribly deep, kind of running down the wood a little bit, but at the same time definitely capable of pushing down some really nice fine curls, working in a nice controlled manner and doing a pretty decent job. Now this is my first time really having an opportunity to use this knife for camp tasks, of course, because when I originally got it I found that I had a heavy duty rust problem, and the prior video shows me working to rectify that situation. So now it's nice to actually get a little time using it and come up with some nice little curls. Now I don't do a lot of tasks that typically require much in the way of stabbing, but it is always good to try to test the knife just to feel what it would be like, make sure that the tip is good and durable, and to see what kind of a grip I need in order to perform this task. Now I can tell you right off the get-go, I never felt as though I was truly going to slide down the blade, but at the same time with the scalloped handle scales, I found that it was a little bit uncomfortable, created a little bit of a hot spot, and was not necessarily the best knife in terms of comfort for stabbing tasks. The other problem that I found is that the blade just simply was gliding over the wood on my carving tasks. Here you can see I'm trying to carve the wood, but the blade is simply sliding by. I'm not getting any deep bite on the wood, and it's not doing a very good job. And even getting a little bit tighter, trying to do some push cuts, that did not work very well either. You can tell I'm trying to put a significant amount of pressure on this blade to get it to even dig in, and so it's definitely not as sharp as I would have liked, and I'll probably need to do some sort of grinding to actually get this blade sharp enough to really cut in a proper fashion. Now moving forward with chopping tasks, I was really hoping that after the initial test, I thought this blade was going to be able to do a pretty good job at chopping, but here, as you can see, I'm basically just smashing the wood. I'm barely taking any significant chunks, and so the blade is pretty much just bouncing off of this log, not doing a great job, not getting any deep bites or deep penetration into the wood, and like I said, I'm just simply smashing this thing. I would think that 1 or 2 blows with a good quality axe would make it through a log of this size, and you can see it took a significant amount of effort to get through it with the knife. So unfortunately, not a great test and not a great result. Now the other problem that I had is that the little hook on the back side of this blade actually created a hot spot on that handle. Now it did allow me to lock in pretty good and to get some good quality swings with the blade, but at the same time that little hook definitely hurt. It kind of crushed my finger and added a level of discomfort, and so unfortunately that was a miss. Now the one positive I found is that this knife was great for batoning, has an excellent blade profile and geometry for that, has total ample length. I'm here spanning about a 5-inch log, and you can see this blade has plenty of length to make it across it and just blast the wood into pieces. Absolutely perfect for batoning tasks, and in that regard, this knife was great. And again, you can see this knife goes right down through the log with ease, splitting the halves of the wood and sending them flying in both directions. Very, very nice for batoning. Now just taking a quick look at the knife to make sure it held up okay. You can see that the patina has taken a little bit of an abuse, and I actually really enjoy that. I like when the patina starts to get worn. Taking a quick look at the edge, nothing to worry about at all. Now you can see the edge where I've really taken time to try to sharpen it. I mean, I did all that by hand to get rid of the patina and try to get a nice sharp edge. I thought I did a pretty reasonable job, but it's still not very sharp. Now I have had a few knives in the past that have had broken tips basically after testing like this, and so I really wanted to focus on this. With this particular knife, no problem at all. No problem with the edge, no problem with the strength or quality of the steel at this point, and so that's definitely a good thing. And finally, just a couple details on the handle. Now I didn't notice when I originally got this knife if it had these funny mashed up looking pins. Taking a look at the other side, you can see that they're in perfect shape. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on this other side of the handle, whether or not they were like this from the get-go, or if doing the tasks that I've just performed actually made that happen, but just something worth noting. So alright guys, there you have it. A quick look and field test with a patina on this Falcata from CFK. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.